Okay, so it's been a while and my videos have not been very frequent. Hey guys, hi, ni hao. This is Stephanie from Changing Scripts podcast and YouTube channel, or more so, lots of other content that isn't this. I was studying HSK all of last year, Chinese, like Mandarin Chinese, via HSK all last year. And then I really slowed down and really took an unexpected break from studying, from learning, from using, I should say from reading, because I don't really speak. I've never had a desire to, and I never have really spoken a lot of Mandarin Chinese. It wasn't really my goal, not really my thing. I know that's weird. I don't care. That's who I am. Anyway, if you're curious, I am in a park in Tokyo right now on vacation, and I don't remember the name of it, but I'll put it down in the notes below if you're curious, and if you're near here or coming here. It is by far my favorite park in Tokyo. Could be my favorite park in Japan. It's gorgeous. Anyway, so why am I talking about Mandarin Chinese while I'm here? Well, I'm just on vacation, and I just had my weekly check-in with my language learning accountability buddy. Despite the fact that I haven't been studying much, I'm still keeping in contact on the things I want to do and on the things that he's doing, and it's been really, really helpful in staying on track on the am I done or not done kind of thing that I keep talking about in these videos in this weird lull of non-studying. So my update this week that I'll gladly share with you is that I think I mentioned in the last video that I had thrown out all of my HSK 1, 2, and 3 workbooks and study books and all the texts that I had, because they were sitting in my living room and they were guilting me or I was letting them put pressure on me. I was letting the pressure of the intense studying that I did last year in learning to read, very limited, very low level, but learning to read Mandarin Chinese. Yes, the Hanzi characters, I got to a point where I could read the ones that I knew, the words that I knew. And the spacing issue wasn't as big a deal. So there's that. So I threw them out because they were just guilting me. And I've written all over them. I'd used them multiple times throughout the year, and I felt like they were pretty cheap. Let me just say, it's probably not environmentally great, but they were very cheap. Each book was about $5 to $10, depending on if it was a course book or the workbook. But I needed that space to not be compared to last year. And this really, really just came up in my conversation with my accountability buddy, where we're both comparing ourselves to previous studying techniques, previous studying times. And I realized as we were chatting about our progress that comparison, that study comparison's really crazy. It holds us back massively in motivation, in progress, and oh my gosh, look how giant the crows here. I don't know if you can see that. That's my finger. That's the crow. The crows here are really big in Japan, and sometimes they fly at you and your life is in danger. Anyway, we used to live here, so it's not just I'm traveling, I know this place in 2 days kind of thing. Anyway, point being, not that I know the place with when I lived here before. What am I saying? Our past massive motivation can hold us back from future progress. If we go really fast and then we slow down, or we go really slow and then we speed up, see, that part's not bad. But if we go really fast and really intense for a while and then we slow down, it seems to be, and this is an N of 2 or a sample set of 2, it seems to be that we then compare ourselves and we stop altogether because we're supposed to go at that speed. Oh gosh, why did we do this? And I'm including myself in this, of course, because I'm one of the N's. I'm one of the sample sets. Sorry, I was in grad school too long. I'm including myself in this. Why do we do this to ourselves? Any forward progress is forward progress. Any review is still keeping the information in your head. Any use, any activation, any passive or active use of the language is still something. I mean, if you're just talking about keeping your brain healthy, I think they mentioned, oh gosh, I'm going to have to find it and do a separate video on this, but I was reading a book on creativity and they were talking about just this much of language learning for elderly people that were starting to, not dementia, but starting to have memory problems, and like this much of language studying and how much it helped them with their cognitive abilities and tasks that they had to do during the day. Just a little bit. We don't need to do everything all the time. And yet, if you have a period of excessive studying, not excessive, of really, really forward-moving studying, then it seems like it really messes you up the rest of the time that you're using or studying the language, which is the rest of your life, potentially. So how do we get over this? I don't have an answer. I just started having the question. So let me ask you, have you ever reached this point where you did a giant sprint and then you looked back and said, well, I still want to keep going, but I can't go at that pace? And if I can share this, and language accountability folk, if you are gentlemen, I don't want to out you here, but if I say too much, please tell me and I'll remove the video immediately. But we both have partners, we both, have jobs, we both, we're adults. And so there's a lot of things happening, not just language learning. We're not just children learning a language or teenagers where it's our job to learn language. We've got life happening. And so this is a part of life. What do you do when you hit a part where your life gets full but you want to keep studying? How do you not compare yourself to your super productive period? How do you do that while still progressing and not feeling guilty that you're not doing everything you did before? Now, having said that, I have, for future planning, life planning, I have, there's a crow coming towards me. I'm telling you, these guys are evil. Anyway, for future planning, I have limited the amount of some of the other stuff that I can control in my schedule for June and July and August. And I'm slowing down on some of those things. So I am opening up the space to get language learning back in my life, and I have resurrected my HSK3 flashcards, and I brought actually chapter 1 flashcards with me, and I've been working on them a little bit while we're in Japan, and I have to keep reminding myself a little bit's better than nothing. And it is, because some of them are coming back. A lot of them I remember, which is shocking since it's been almost 6 months since I've used them. But a fair bit of them are coming back into my memory, which is amazing. And yeah, and it feels good. And I just had a conversation in the cafe. I don't know if you can see this cute little cafe we're at in the park. I was studying them, and some of them have Hanzi characters on the front, which is also just known as Mandarin Chinese in the natural script, and on the back I had the English, and some of them have the English on the front and the Hanzi on the back, and she saw the characters and thought it was Japanese, and I was trying to explain to her it was Chinese, and then we started to compare the Japanese words for the things and the Chinese ones, because one of the scripts of Japanese is Kanji, K-A-N-J-I, not spelled like the soup in Chinese, which I started to, when I was telling my language partner, I was like, C-O-N-G-E-E, no, that's a soup in Chinese. It sucks when languages are close to each other. Anyway, the kanji, K-A-N-J-I, is the traditional Chinese characters, but it's only one of the scripts of Japanese. What is my point? Oh, is that she was reading the ones that look like the traditional characters, because I'm studying simplified Mandarin Chinese. The kanji in Japanese in that script is uses the traditional Chinese characters. However, I had a couple of cards that had direction, and I know by going around Japan that those are the same, or at least close enough. I didn't have East, because I think that one changes. Dong changes a lot from simplified to traditional, but I had Nan Fung, which is northern side, and Beifang. My tones are off, but that's Beifang is northern side, or northern part, and the Fung in Japanese, if I understand her correctly, was Hong. So she was saying, and I forget what north is, but she was saying that part. But the Fung and the Hong, if you study Japanese, or you've lived in Japan or been to Japan and you've had the FH thing happen to you before, that was hilarious to me, because that's almost the same sound then. Because when we lived in Fuchu, which is F-U-C-H-U, I think I've said this before, they pronounced the F like an H, so it was Huchu, even though it was an F letter. Whole historical reason why that is the way it is. But so that was interesting. So that was almost exactly the same sound, given that the tone in Mandarin Chinese I'm doing wrong. So that was really cute. So we were going through some of the, I only had 20 flashcards with me, but we went through a few of them and did that kind of thing, and that was really fun. And I miss moments like that, and I miss playing with the characters. So doing this really got me to think about what I liked about the studying, and to put down, in a way, the comparison to last year's manic HSK 1, 2, and 3 studying, to get to the point where I could read. And then I lost momentum and I got just exhausted, and life got really busy in a beautiful and in a really, really exhausted way, all at the same time. But I think I'm ready, especially after the vacations that we've taken in May this year. I feel like I'm really, really ready to get back on track. I know I've said that before, and I don't think you should believe me until it happens, but I just wanted to put this out there. This idea of how do we stop comparing ourselves to previous productive times? Because there's going to be times when we're very productive, and there's going to be times when we're not. And in order to move forward and to just kind of keep the language alive, and to keep the love of languages alive, the guilt and the pressure of the past needs to go away. If you have any tips, I'd be more than happy to read them and to pass them on to other folks that hit this moment in time. I love these trees. This park is gorgeous. I'm not even near the water right now. If you're on my Instagram, go take a look. I just posted tons of pictures of the ducks and the swan boats and the food that we're eating and all this kind of stuff. Living in Japan was a bit challenging. The work culture is a bit intense. The commute is a bit intense, the metro rides and stuff, but as a tourist, Japan's friggin' fantastic. Friggin' fantastic. Look at this stuff. Anyway, we go back to Shanghai in a few days, and then I will start probably studying somewhat. Thank you all for watching this. I look forward to your comments, suggestions, questions, and all that kind of stuff. And this Changing Scripts podcast is available wherever podcasts are, and that's not me chatting. Well, that is me chatting, but it's me chatting with other people who have learned and are using Mandarin Chinese. 再见。